it. Bernard Whitman is a Democratic strategist. Ben Ferguson is a CNN political commentator. They both join me live. And Ben Ferguson, also a Republican strategist. All right. So, Ben, first to you, because as a Republican, you know, the typical template is for the anchor in the middle of the picture to go to the Republican and say, this must be a thrilling day. But I have been interviewing you for a year and a half, and it's sort of Alice in Wonderland, my friend. I can't ask you that because you have had your issues with your candidate. Walk me through how you're feeling today.
I'm excited, and I think a lot of this started specifically when you saw the temperament of Donald Trump change drastically after he won, and the way that he addressed the country, which I think was in a really humble way, and a way of saying, we've got to come back together and heal. This is over and this is done. If you would have bet me 6 months ago, if Donald Trump won the White House, would he go out there and gloat and grandstand and really get in the face of other people who had been against him, I would have said there was a decent chance. But this is the other pivot of Donald Trump, and I'm talking about the businessman. He knows how to have a fight, but he also knows how to settle it afterwards and move on. And I think the words that you saw him say, the way that he interacted with Barack Obama today should give people genuine hope that maybe you are going to see some real change in this country from a man that understands what people are frustrated with. He understands how to get the economy going, and I hope people actually give him a chance. I'm giving him a chance because I do think what you've seen him do, winning fixes a lot of issues. He won. Look how well he's getting along with Democrats and Barack Obama. And also look at how well he's getting along on Capitol Hill early on. I think it's going to be very interesting and shock some people.
I always say it could be an alarming one-day trend because we're making some pretty sweeping comments after a real quick meeting and a very, very quick press opportunity. So, Bernard, some of the things I just picked up from Ben, that his temperament changed drastically and that also we should have some genuine hope. Do you have any of that?
Well, look, the onus is on Donald Trump to reach out across the aisle and recognize that more than half the country did not vote for him. People are upset, they're angry, they're frustrated, they're scared.
Yeah, but what about you? I see those protesters out there. You're a Democratic strategist. This is day 2, and now you're seeing some of the language, at least in this very quick snapshot in their first meeting. Are you encouraged by it?
I happen to be personally an eternal optimist. I'm pragmatic, and I'm a realist. He is going to be our president, and we have to figure out a way to work together. But it also says to me the Democratic Party needs to do a better job of reaching out to all communities. We clearly did not have a strong resonant message for white folks who don't have a college education. We need to figure out how to communicate to people across the spectrum. But at the end of the day, it is the responsibility of Donald Trump to reach out to people who he has neglected, who he has been racist and sexist and misogynistic against. It is on him to bring the country together. He has to inspire
Ben,
hope.
I'm going to bring you in a minute. I'm going to bring you in a minute. Hold on, Ben. I got a whole big show, and I'm going to get you in on that in a moment. I just wanted to make sure our audience knew what they were watching right there because we're hopscotching around. I think that was the last picture was just Denver. And listen, I'm getting a lot of reaction. People on Facebook, etc. This is Portland, Oregon now. I'm getting a lot of reaction from people who are saying, fine and dandy, you're all out there hitting the streets. Did you hit the polls? Because if you didn't hit the polls, you have no business being out there in the street. You can only protest if you actually did the ultimate protest, which was you went to the polls and you chose your candidate. So we're going to continue to go around the country, from Portland, Oregon, right across to the East Coast as well. A couple of protests happening as well. This is Baltimore, but Trump Tower, New York City, also the Trump property in Washington, D.C., and I have a whole lot more live shots to show you as well. Plus, how about moving forward? Are we ever going to get off the street and back into some kind of accord instead of widespread discord coast to coast? I said this was a bit of a kumbaya day today, but it was just a day and it was just a couple of sound bites.
Well, and here's the point that I think should be made here. This was a free and fair election. Democrats need to do a better job of policing their own here. You did not see a bunch of Republicans out after Barack Obama won in 2008 or 2012. You didn't see them burning the flag. You didn't see them out there saying that people are going to die over this election. You didn't see people out there, Republicans out there, holding up these types of vulgar, disgusting signs. And Democrats should do a better job of reminding people, hey, we had a free and fair election. We lost. If you don't like it, first of all, did you show up to vote? I would love to know the percentage of the people out there, how many of them did not go vote that actually could have voted. And the other thing is here, this is grandstanding, and I think we should be careful not to legitimize this too much. The fact that we just had an election. If you don't like the outcome, you should have fought harder. You should have taken more friends to the polls. But this is disgusting what we're seeing here. And Democrats are the ones that, if they truly believe in unity, they truly believe in coming together, as so many of them claim they were going to. Nancy Pelosi, the president, and other Democrats have come out. Then go out and talk to these protesters and say, hey, we had our day, we lost. It's time to unify this country and not allow this to continue to get out of control.
I think Ben makes some really good points. I just want to add one of the points to what he said, and that was you shouldn't be out there on the street if you didn't vote. I'd like to know how many of those people out on the street actually went to the ballot box. I got this in my inbox today from Black Lives Matter New York saying, I ain't voting until Black Lives Matter. Well, that just sounds counterproductive.
No, that's an abrogation of civic responsibility. I hope everybody voted. But here's what really bothers me. You have potentially the next Attorney General of the United States who would be in charge of prosecuting protesters complaining that they're crybabies. You have people like David Clark, the Milwaukee County Sheriff, who's rumored to possibly have a spot in the administration, saying these are tantrums from anarchists. You know why people are upset? You know why they're angry? Because Donald Trump used racist, sexist rhetoric, and one of his first jobs when he assumes the presidency is to appoint a new Supreme Court justice. Do you know who that likely is to be? William Pryor. Excuse me, Ben. I allowed you to speak. Let me talk. William Pryor has called Roe v. Wade the worst abomination in constitutional law history. People are frightened. They're scared that we're going to go back to the days of back alley abortions where women died for exercising their freedom of choice, where gays are not going to be able to marry again. I mean, this is really scary, where Muslims are going to be deported, where Latinos are going to be... This is not... Wait, what are you kidding me, Ben? This is exactly the rhetoric that Donald Trump used to win the election.
A transgendered man to come into his building and to use whichever
thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you so much.
Listen, this is where... Hold on, I have to take you to task here. You can criticize some things if you want to, but let's be clear. Donald Trump on the transgender gay lesbian issue is probably, at this point, the most progressive Republican we've ever seen go into the White House.
He has promised to appoint a Supreme Court justice who would overturn the federal marriage decision, and that is disgusting.
I'm only going to take over for a moment here. I don't like to interrupt it, but we just want to make sure that people are aware of what they're seeing on their screens. This is Baltimore right now. It looked like there was some activity between police and protesters. We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to get you back into these protests in a moment, and we're going to talk about what's next in terms of appointees. 4,000 jobs need to be filled. Who's going to get them in the streets? Ben and Bernard are back with me, our Republican and Democratic strategists. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about filling these jobs. Ben, it has been said that Donald Trump will fill the 4,000 or so plus jobs in this new administration, mostly with loyalists, and that, in fact, aides have been combing social media to make sure that whomever is going to be appointed doesn't have any kind of background of criticizing Donald Trump. He's in a job that he is bound to be criticized daily by the minute for the next 4 years. Is that the best strategy? Don't you want the best people as opposed to some who may have had something ill to say about Donald Trump in the past?
Look, you want people first that I think truly believe in you and are not going to just go for a power job and then end up being leakers of information and undermining what you're doing. Everybody that I know in politics, whether it be on a local or state or national level, checks social media before they hire people to see who they really are. That doesn't worry me or surprise me at all. I also think Donald Trump, though, is also very smart here. You look at Kellyanne Conway, his campaign manager. Remember, she was around Ted Cruz until Ted Cruz dropped out. He went and found her because he thought she was the best woman for the job to run his campaign after he had some serious issues with his first two campaign managers. So I think he can overlook those things here. There are a lot of positions that need to be filled. I think he's going to find smart people, and he's going to find the right people. And you're going to have political outsiders, which is exactly what he needs if he wants to get things done in Washington.
So
if you don't want to get things done, go back with the same people that have been there.
I'm going to add Sarah Huckabee to that list as well. He brought Sarah Huckabee on board after
who was not with him early on and critical.
Right. So Bernard, the issue is I asked a couple of people, strong Republican aides and insiders in the past, if they would take a job in the Trump administration. And the answer was not likely. So there's that issue as well. Should those Republicans who spoke ill of Donald Trump, who were not in the Donald Trump camp, come around and say, you know, maybe I can do more good than harm.
You know,
here.
here's what worries me. You have top surrogates like Omarosa who said, we are keeping an enemies list. That scares me. You have the fact that he really did not plan at all for the transition. There's a talent deficit. There's literally a flight of talent away from Donald Trump because they're worried about being associated with someone who literally has no policies, no programs, no real agenda. You know, he talks about creating, excuse me, Ben, he talks about creating jobs. He has no jobs plan.
Chill out.
I
didn't say anything.
No, I think that was my apologies. I think what that was is that we were showing images from the protest, and it's all no one's able to find the source of the sound. So let's just be clear there.
My concern here is that he is fundamentally unprepared for the office. He hasn't really thought through what plans, what programs, what policies. How is he actually going to bring these jobs back? Who is he going to get as Secretary of Commerce? Who is he going to get as Secretary of the Treasury?
Ashley.
He talks about wanting to bring all these manufacturing jobs back. How is he going to do that? Who's going to be Secretary of Health? Because he said, you know what, we're going to repeal and replace Obamacare. What is he going to do when 20 million people are thrown out of health care because Obamacare no longer exists?
Right, guys,
they're going to be the ones who are going to be out in the street protesting.
Hold on, Ben. I only have to say that because I do have to hit my brakes, my directors and producers. And as we look at the effort in the Oval Office between the president and the president-elect to show that maybe we can have a unified front going forward, what happens, Ben, with the cries from the campaign trail to lock her up, to appoint a special prosecutor to investigate Hillary Clinton? Are these the kinds of things that may disappear? Or should Donald Trump continue in that effort and stoke the fires of the people you're seeing on the screen?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see Donald Trump move forward on that. And the reason why is because it's a distraction at this point. The American people prosecuted Hillary Clinton, and they decided that she was untrustworthy and unfit to be the president. If Congress wants to continue to look into some of the things with the FBI, or they want to with the Clinton Foundation, then so be it. But if they go to Washington and their top priority is to go after Hillary Clinton, it is going to not get the legislative agenda done that Donald Trump needs to get done so that the American people say, okay, he's doing a really good job. Donald Trump wants to win. He won the election. Now he wants to win on the legislative issues in Washington. So I think it would be a very bad decision for him to go up there and to focus on Hillary Clinton. He just beat her. The American people said we cannot trust her. Move on to the other issues like Obamacare, the Supreme Court, etc.
Okay, so there are other issues as well. Bernard, you heard as well as everyone else that his biggest campaign rhetoric was to build a wall, to deport those who are here illegally. He said they all got to go. Ban on Muslims until we figure it out. I feel like those are the kinds of things that the people on the screen are also going to be up in arms about.
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons for these people to be protesting against Donald Trump. He maligned so many different groups over the course of his 15-month, 16-month campaign for the presidency. And I think, you know, it's amazing to me. He talks about immigration. One of his signature lines was, we're going to build the wall, and Mexico is going to pay for it. Well, Newt Gingrich, who's rumored to be potentially part of his administration, walked that back today, said, you know what, Donald Trump's not going to focus on making Mexico pay for the wall. That was just a pathetic campaign ploy. And to have someone like Newt Gingrich walk that back, I think his own supporters are going to be really upset about that. I think his own supporters are going to be really upset when their manufacturing jobs don't come back. I think people that are going to get kicked off of Obamacare are going to be really upset when they have no health insurance. I think people that have pre-existing conditions, I think people that have pre-existing conditions are going to be really upset when suddenly they can't get health insurance without Obamacare.
Okay, Ben, real quick on the Obamacare.
We got to be intellectually honest. We got to be intellectually honest about Obamacare. No one's been kicked off of anything yet, okay? And they've said very clearly that they are going to replace it with something. Donald Trump has also said there are some fundamental issues in Obamacare that he's okay with. For example, getting health care with pre-existing conditions. But you talk about these appointments. Ben Carson, who's a neurosurgeon who understands hospitals, is going to be, I think, instrumental in redoing Obamacare and making it better. So to say that all these people are going to lose their insurance is fear-mongering, and it's based on no truth at all.
One of the signs we just saw on the street was, let me introduce myself. We are America too. So that is the voice from half of those who voted for Hillary Clinton. The other half is not represented on the streets right now, but they were represented in the results of that election with President-elect Donald J. Trump. As we look at these pictures going out to break, how many of the things that were promised in those raucous rallies and out on the campaign trail, build a wall, Muslim ban, Obamacare's got to go, how many of those things will President-elect Trump deliver to his most ardent supporters? Donald Trump had won this election. I want to bring Ben Ferguson and Bernard Whitman back as we look at pictures of the old post office building in D.C. that is now the Trump International Hotel. That's within shouting distance of the White House as well. So, guys, as we look at these pictures and hear these voices, I just want to ask about the impending plan for the Trump administration. There were a lot of things said on the campaign trail. There were a lot of things promised on the campaign trail. Specifically, a lot of people who are out there with rainbow flags say that gay marriage is at risk. And Ben, I want to ask you about that, because if we're talking about unity going forward, once again, if Hillary Clinton's prosecution isn't helpful for unity, is rolling back gay marriage helpful for the unity issue?
One, I don't think it's going to happen. I think you look at Donald Trump and the words that he has said. I mean, he criticized the bathroom laws in the Carolinas. He made it very clear that Caitlyn Jenner was able to come into his own hotel. He's not going to waste, I think, in his opinion, time on that. He also has talked about it being a states' rights issue. I don't think you're going to see this be rolled back, and this ultimately was a Supreme Court issue. I mean, are you going to be able to switch the Supreme Court? Would they even be willing to rehear this issue? I think this is pretty much at this point settled law. He's going to move on to other things and not go back.
Excuse me, but
let me get Bernard in there.
The problem is, it's not a states' rights issue. It is now a federal, in the purview of the federal government to say gays and lesbians have a right to marry. I need to know if Donald Trump was being serious when he promised to appoint Supreme Court justices who would overturn that decision. Do I need to leave here, go home, propose to my boyfriend now, get married, less than a year or two, we don't have the right to do that? I need to know these things. And also, Donald Trump owes it to the American people to come clean about things like the deportation force. Is he actually going to round up all of the illegals and deport them? People have a right to know, was he actually serious, or is he going to roll back and walk back?
So that's a big question. I think, guys, as just real quickly, because I do have to wrap this up for one particular reason, and that is that there are a lot of people who voted for Donald Trump because of these things he promised, and I think they will be watching like a hawk to see that their champion delivers to them what they wanted. They said, "Make America Great Again," which in their mind was when those things did not exist. So I think this is going to be intriguing going forward. By the way, more protests from Washington, D.C. This is all over a vote that happened on Tuesday.
A free and fair vote.
Free and fair vote, without question. There was no complaint from the Democrats that there was vote rigging, although there was a lot of complaining that there was limitations on a lot of people voting in Democratic areas. All right, I want to switch gears to a different kind of vote if I can, because it's a very important vote in these walls. Very loud proclamations made from the streets, some of them not fit for television, but for the most part, many saying that this is just something they wanted to do out of pain and out of frustration for the result that they did not want to see. Bernard Whitman and Ben Ferguson are back with me. And Bernard, I got to ask you, what will it take? How long will it take? Will anything mollify the people that we're looking at on our screen?
Well, I think it's incumbent upon Donald Trump to get out there and vocally say, I will be the president for everyone, not just once, but repeatedly. And I think that he has to pledge in the first 100 days of administration to welcome those into the White House that he vehemently disagreed with. People like Latinos, people, undocumented Americans, Muslims. He needs to welcome these people in. He needs to inspire hope and not fear. He needs to bring people together, not divide them. He needs to build bridges, not walls. And he needs to listen to people with opposing views instead of shouting them down. That, I think, will begin to heal the country.
So the straight-talking, politically incorrect guy, Ben, that the supporters of Donald Trump absolutely revered, and you could see it in those rallies. They loved the bombast. They loved the aggressive talk. That stuff doesn't play well on a world stage with someone like Kim Jong-il out there who could take things literally, and it doesn't play well with those folks out on the street. So does your candidate, does your president-elect have to change his style, upset his supporters, but somehow figure out unity?
I think he already has. I think that actually where you're going to see Donald Trump probably be the most bombastic is with people within his own party if they get in the way of the agenda that he was sent to Washington to do. I think that's where you may see the biggest wars. He's not going to waste time going out there and acting like he's still campaigning. You saw as soon as he won this, he's going to work and going to do the things he said he was going to do. He's going to focus on job creation. He's going to focus on trade deals. He's going to focus on Obamacare.
All right. I got to stop it there. only because, you know what, I could go on for 4 hours, but my show's over. I can't thank you both enough. Thank you so much, Bernard.